I have said that other texts and photos were likely to come out, and today they have. Right. As I've said in the past, these things that I did were wrong and hurtful to my wife and caused us to go through many challenges in our marriage that extended past my resignation from Congress. While some of the things that have been posted today are true and some are not, there is no question that what I did was wrong. This behavior is behind me. I've apologized to my wife, Huma, and I'm grateful that she has worked through these issues with me and that I've had her forgiveness.
To quote my friend Andrew Oive, in retrospect, maybe this shouldn't have been a big surprise. As for those other photos Anthony Weiner didn't want to talk about, well, they're out now. We have a lot to talk about tonight. Good evening. Welcome to RFL. I'm Richard French, and thanks so much for joining us this Tuesday night, July 23rd. All right, let's get right to it. The latest misstep for Anthony Weiner, as that is putting it very politely, Andrew, you can't make this stuff up.
Well, you heard Anthony Weiner just a few moments ago confirming the story that we had been hearing about all day. It all began with a nightlife and gossip website called The Dirty. This morning, they posted an article claiming to have spoken with a 22-year-old woman who said she had an online relationship with Weiner after he resigned from Congress. That article also included a picture, apparently, of Weiner's naked lower body, seemingly taken as he was exiting the shower. And among the other revelations, the woman says Weiner engaged with her online using the pseudonym Carlos Danger. Weiner confirmed the messages were real, as you just heard. He read that from an earlier statement where he wrote, "I said that other texts and photos were likely to come out, and today they have." As for the other allegations, Weiner's statement was much more carefully worded. Did the relationship take place after his resignation? Quote, "These things that I did were wrong and hurtful to my wife," as you heard Weiner say, "and caused us to go through challenges in our marriage that extended past my resignation from Congress." He continued, "While some things have been posted today that are true and some are not, there's no question that what I did was wrong. This behavior is behind me." Statements that did leave some questions unanswered. We did not know if the online relationship took place after Weiner's resignation. It appears now that it did. The woman in the article also claimed Weiner promised to get her a job and an apartment in Chicago where the two would meet up. Weiner did not address that either in his statement or press conference. And Weiner later answered that there are no more women to come out. We did not know that until just a moment ago. One final observation. The article posted this morning, the questions went to the Weiner campaign almost immediately. That statement came out, Rich, just as the world was beginning to tune in to the royal baby's presentation. So there was some speculation that perhaps he was trying to bury this story as best he possibly could, but that wasn't going to happen today.
No way, no chance, no how. All right, Andrew, I want to bring in our panel on this. We're going to share more from the press conference that concluded just minutes ago. Jeannie Zaino, professor of political science from Iona College. She knows polls better than anybody. I'm going to love to hear what she thinks the next one's going to say. Dominic Carter, political journalist and author, and his name has come up quite a bit today because Dominic was the one who, in his recent interview, had Anthony Weiner acknowledge that there could be more coming, and we'll get into that. Richard St. Clair, a Republican strategist who's having a hard time, St. Paul, suppressing his smile today. He's also vice chair of the National Black Republican Association, and Andrew Whitman, who you've already met. I'd give everyone names here. Instead of Carlos Danger, maybe Juanita Trouble and Jose Loco, but let's skip. But listen, one of the things that came out, we'll talk about the political prospects, what could or couldn't happen, but before this, we said there's no chance that this isn't his final act here as mayor, given everything that's went down. But we heard from a voice today that we hadn't really heard from before on this. And I'm not going to say it's going to make today go away, but if there's a sliver of opportunity that Anthony Weiner can survive, I think it's in large part because of his wife, Huma Abedin. And I want you to take a look at a part of what she had to say, because it wasn't just Anthony Weiner who addressed both the press and the audience and also took questions, but Huma Abedin also spoke here. Take a listen.
When we faced this publicly 2 years ago, it was the beginning of a time in our marriage that was very difficult, and it took us a very long time to get through it. Our marriage, like many others, has had its ups and its downs. It took a lot of work and a whole lot of therapy to get to a place where I could forgive Anthony. It was not an easy choice. in any way. But I made the decision that it was worth staying in this marriage. That was a decision I made for me, for our son, and for our family. I didn't know how it would work out, but I did know that I wanted to give it a try. Anthony's made some horrible mistakes, both before he resigned from Congress and after. But I do very strongly believe that that is between us and our marriage. We discussed all of this before Anthony decided he would run for mayor. So really what I want to say is, I love him, I have forgiven him, I believe in him, and as we have said from the beginning, we are moving forward. Thank you very much.
Now, when asked about the timeline, and that's key to this story, we'll go over that in a second, what his wife did or didn't know, Anthony Weiner responded with this.
She knew all along this process. As I was more and more honest with her, I told her everything. So this is something we knew going into the decision about whether I would run.
Now, already this afternoon, given we are in the primary season, you've had folks in the field already saying that it's time for Anthony Weiner to withdraw, Bill de Blasio being among them this afternoon. He made it clear, did Mr. Weiner, that that will not be happening, saying basically the worst behind him. Take a listen.
This is entirely behind me. It was when I decided to get in and we had this conversation. That is why, if you remember, in the early days of the campaign, people were pressing me for, is there more out there? And I said yes. I said that there was. And so to some degree, this was something that we had in front of us, as Huma just acknowledged, that we knew might come up, and we decided that, look, this was something that we had worked through together, something had put behind us, and something we wanted to keep behind us. But as I've said, it's in our rearview mirror, but it's not far. We still work every day at our marriage.
Okay. There are so many questions about this, including is it a recoverable thing, but the timeline to me is the most compelling part, and then the role the wife has played now in this, and then the capacity for the New York voter, what they will and won't forget. But Dominic, let me first ask you, it was your question, what, about a month ago, where you asked if there was more out there, and when he said that there might be, that's when people were starting to try and connect dots. But it's been a month and now it comes out. Are even you surprised, most specifically about the timeline, about when he said these conversations online, these pictures, the dialogue took place?
I'm not surprised, Richard.
Well, that makes one of us.
One, when we asked him the question, and you know, when you prepare for an interview, you sort of know what the answer is going to be. I sort of fell off my chair that he was so candid and so honest. And I'm not going to reveal the private conversation that we had afterwards, Weiner and myself, but it was clear that there was more out there. And guess what? In all likelihood, there's still more out there. Only he knows that.
But Dom, for me, the part is, I got that. And I'm not surprised that there's more. But what I'm shocked about is, I figured the more happened before he started